Britain and China discussed differences over human rights and their approach to repression in Syria and sealed trade deals worth £1 billion. Chinese Prime Minister Wen Jiabao and senior ministers held talks in London with British Prime Minister David Cameron on the final day of Jiabao's three-day visit to Britain. Cameron, who led a major delegation to Beijing last November, sees trade with China as a key part of his strategy to boost Britain's economic growth. At a joint news conference after the meeting, Cameron outlined some of the trade agreements reached and confirmed that talks were held on how to secure opportunities for British companies in rapidly expanding regional cities outside Beijing. We have also agreed to signpost the best places for British business to invest in China's regional cities, to increase infrastructure investment and bilateral trade and services, and to reduce the burden on exporters through a double taxation agreement. Our target is $100 billion of bilateral trade by 2015, something we discussed and agreed on this morning, he told reporters. The issue of China's human rights record was also raised during the meeting. Britain has previously raised concern over the plight of Nobel Peace Prize recipient Liu Xiaobo and the detention and prosecution of other political activists. It has also been at odds with China over the international community's response to Syria's crackdown on protesters. On human rights, Wen said both countries needed to respect each other, respect the facts, treat each other as equals, engage in cooperation rather than finger-pointing, and resolved our differences through dialogue.
4 top surviving leaders of Khmer Rouge went on trial after 3 decades of communist utopia plan that was responsible for the deaths of nearly half of the population. Security was tight at the UN-backed tribunal with dozens of police on guard and 500 spectators. The majority were the victims of the 1975 to 79 regimes watching from the gallery. With the Khmer Rouge leader Pol Pot long dead, this may be the nation's best chance to hold the accused architects of the killing fields and the enslavement of millions of Cambodians accountable, though all 4 will say they are innocent. On trial on Monday were 84-year-old Nuon Chia, who was Pol Pot's number 2 and the group's chief ideologist, 79-year-old former head of state Khieu Samphan, ex-foreign minister Leng Sari, 85 years old, and his 79-year-old wife Leng Thrit, who served as Minister of Social Affairs. The 4 accused sat side by side without handcuffs. Together they form what the tribunal calls Case 002. They are charged with crimes against humanity, war crimes, genocide, religious persecution, homicide, and torture. The chief jailer, Kang Geuk-ev, also known as Dush, of a notorious Khmer Rouge prison, was convicted last year in the breakthrough Case 001. Pol Pot escaped justice with his death in 1998, then a prisoner of his own comrades as his once mighty guerrilla movement in jungle retreat was collapsing. Its first defendant was Dush, commandant of Tuat Sling prison, where only a handful of prisoners survived. Up to 16,000 people were tortured under Dush command and later taken away to be killed. The family of the victims spoke of their yearning for justice. Dush expressed remorse, acknowledged responsibility for his action, and kept meticulous prison records that were mostly recovered. The 4 defendants had lived freely before being taken into tribunal custody in 2007, often living in former Khmer Rouge strongholds. This trial may be the tribunal's last, even though preliminary cases have been prepared against at least 5 more suspects. The process has always suffered from budgetary pressures, even though it will have spent almost $150 million from its start in 2006 until the end of this year. More importantly, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen, presumably wary that political allies who once served with the Khmer Rouge as he himself did could face prosecution, has declared he simply won't allow more trials.
Tobago giant Philip Morris has launched against the Australian government for endorsing a new cigarette package law which violated the bilateral investment treaty. Tobacco giant Philip Morris has launched legal action against the Australian government over the country's plans to strip company logos from cigarette packages and replace them with grisly images of cancerous mouths, sickly children, and bulging blinded eyes. The legislation, which will be introduced to Parliament in July, would ban cigarette makers from printing the logos, promotional text, or colorful images on cigarette packs. Brand names will instead be printed in a small, uniform font and feature large health warnings and gruesome full-color images of the consequences of smoking. The law will be phased in over 6 months, starting in January 2012. The government believes the new rules will make the packages less attractive to smokers and turn Australia into the world's toughest country on tobacco advertising. Several outraged cigarette makers have threatened lawsuits, arguing the move illegally diminishes the value of their trademarks. Philip Morris is the first of those companies to file a claim for compensation. Hong Kong-based Philip Morris Asia Limited, which owns the Australian affiliate Philip Morris Limited, filed a notice of claim today, arguing the legislation violating a bilateral investment treaty between Australia and Hong Kong. The tobacco company says the treaty protects the company's property, including intellectual property such as trademarks. The plain packaging proposal severely diminishes the value of the company's trademark, Philip Morris spokeswoman Anne Edwards said. The government denied the plan breaks any laws and said it would not back down. Prime Minister Julia Gillard also brushed off Philip Morris' threats.
We're not going to be intimidated by big tobacco's tactics, whether they're political tactics, whether they're public affairs kind of tactics out in the community, or whether they're legal tactics. We're not taking a backward step. We've made the right decision and we'll see it through, and we're very confident we can deliver plain paper packaging.
The legal notice filed Monday opens up a 3-month period of negotiation between the two sides. Philip Morris said if a satisfactory outcome isn't achieved by the end of the 3 months, it will seek arbitration.
Vietnam is set to begin carrying out the death penalty this week by lethal injection instead of firing squad. Legislators seeking a more human method of judicial killing approved the execution amendment last year. Public Security Ministry officials said that the law on execution by lethal injection to replace firing squads in death penalty cases will take effect from July 1st, 2011 throughout Vietnam. Adding to this, the ministry recently held a conference to brief police about the new law. Most death sentences in Vietnam are handed down to drug traffickers and murderers. Vietnamese authorities do not issue capital punishment statistics, but according to reports in state-controlled media, 19 people have received the death penalty and 4 have been executed so far this year. Meanwhile, the rights group Amnesty International has said changing one form of execution for another does not address the inhumanity of the punishment. It called on Vietnam to work towards abolishing the death penalty.
Well, what's up with the ASEAN Silk Heritage 2011? This report is by Kun Vichitra Dongdi. Let's see.